Good morning, afternoon, everyone. Last time, we made the continent in World Painter. We also built some villages, woodland mansion, and a witch village. In this episode, we're gonna be building the city center. The first thing we decided to do is to build the center fountain. I placed a statue facing north because going north means going forward. At first, I made it a player, but then I switched it to be a villager because we're trying to respect as much vanilla Minecraft here. I made a little roundabout as the town center and added bells as those are super needed for the village as it is where they gather. I also made a blue house, which is basically the White House. I start by taking chunks of the land away and creating a fence around it, as the terrain here is pretty hilly. I made a gate for the blue house containing an iron golem on two sides. Let's start with the building itself now. I started with the stripped warped hyphae, I think I got that right, and warped planks for the floor. I then commenced the room division. I created a couple of rooms of different sizes with the hallway in the middle. I made a nether portal which will be hidden from the outside. This is because the door is hidden and can only be accessed from the Oval Office. As you can see me do a very messy wiring here. I covered it with a closet and placed an armor stand in it, and you can barely tell. This is a way for the president to escape case of chaos. It is also a warped biome in there, which made sense. Then obviously I've begun making the Oval Office itself by creating walls. While I continue building this, I'm gonna give out some lore. This blue house used to be a castle, an old dynasty in Triangle Centurian. Before they were kicked out, some say the heir to the throne had run away, cursed into a witch, and has been living for hundreds of years, deep in the jungle. Or they just die, I don't know. The Oval Office used to be a throne room extending all the way to the second floor. More on that later. I've also started making a negotiation room for other countries, leader for negotiation. This used to be a dining room when this was a castle, and there are more private negotiation room with a sidebar in case anything bad happens. There is another room for the president to, well, eat. But why is a castle here? The dynasty here has migrated from what is now Republic of Star. It is built on top of a stronghold, and the end portal is hidden. Inside of a room, unlike the Nether, the end isn't as easily accessible by regular citizens. I created a hallway since we needed that around here. I also created a room for the horse stable. This was royal horses. They used to be one of the best horses in the land, but they probably aren't now, considering the low genetic pool for hundreds of years. And of course, the bathroom. The second floor, there are some hidden emeralds from the dynasty, still hidden in the stairs. Added some plants in the garden and started a second floor.
I created a kitchen for the staff and the president.
I created a roof for the hallway consisting of shulker blocks as they have access to the end dimension. I decided for it to have a tower here on top of a kitchen. Then I continued to create a second floor. As I mentioned before, the Oval Office used to be a tall throne room. This is the top floor, which has now been turned into a storage room. I continued making the second floor. We also have a public bedroom for the president, although they don't sleep there usually. Then the staff dining room for the president's staff. I also decided to put some armor to give a more castle-esque vibe. How does the last heir to the throne escape though? There was a secret escape tunnel, which is now an aquarium consisting, well, all the fish species, except for the pufferfish. And now, a proper bedroom, the private room, making a bed.
I sleep in a racing car, do you?
I continued making the tower, and also the roof for the second floor. Just simple stuff, won't get too deep into that. Of course, I used the same roof pattern as downstairs. I also made the blue house bar, in case the president wants some drink, water, and honey. And the library to fill in some space. The finishing touches to the tower. This is the second time I did a sharp tower thingy. Last time I did it was in the mangrove video. This used to be a nice view of the castle, the tallest in the city. But now it's just a place where the president gets sworn in. Finally done with the blue house. Now we can continue with the city. The first thing I'm gonna build is a work building where people are put into tiny cubicles with no bathroom. Anyways, it took a somewhat long time to make. Nothing interesting here. I did make a roof and that's it. Alright, near the work building, there is a fast food store for them to buy some fast food. I put in some smokers for the villagers to get a job. I created some commercial building. The first one is a cafe, a nice little cafe. The second floor is just a home for these guys to sleep in, and I guess a bathroom with just a bath. I did a 2-building wide restaurant. We have a lot of these in Thailand. An open door restaurant, and the top floor is available for cheap rent for villagers. I also built the back door because the villagers are kinda not smart at pathfinding. Also, it seems like they are meeting and breeding at the town center. Pretty nice. Alright, so this time when I update the server to 1.20, I added some camels, made a cherry biome, and added the last 2 sniffers. Basically getting the server up to date with the update. Decided to make a small local library using cherry wood. The top floor is mangrove, one of the later updated wood. The next floor is acacia, which still feels new to me. I also added a gradients to the wall. Of course, I decided to go all in with the gradient theme. For the buildings, I decided to go for a shop with some kind of warped level. Since there are no green bamboos there, I went with mossy cobblestone instead. I did remove some buildings as I wanted to do something else, like a road. The last one is closed and for sale. With that, I added more roads from the town center. I created some ruined walls. I got inspired by the Constantinople wall in, Istanbul. Okay, now everyone is angry instead of one side. Anyways, a wall inside of a modern city look is what I'm going for here. Of course, in the actual Constantinople wall, there are some sections of the road that actually passes through instead of a broken part, so that's what I did. I also connected all the roads together. I created a tiny little part for some plants and flowers. I created a chunk of land to create a hotel. I made a lot of this in a stream on the channel while building it. So if you want to see me figuring things out, go check that stream. Oh, and if you enjoy watching this video, please consider liking and subscribing. I made a small room for our Mart later, and the center of the hotel, which will be a fountain. With some fake plants, I created a lobby where you can get into the hotel. I decided to use some cherry locks to make it. I tested some accent to see what mixes. I ended up settling for stripped crimson. I made a storage room under the stair and make it look like a brick structure. I created a diner inside of a lobby because some people might get hungry. And I created some homeless benches for homeless people, some more tables, and a carpet upstairs. Before going to make upstairs, I'm gonna make a market. I added a small farm near the market, but an actual farm will be made somewhere else. Back to the hotel. I made a road next to the hotel so you can see the hotel while going down. Okay, I lied. I am still pretty burned out on the hotel. I made a townhouse instead. It's not the best. It's just a couple of chairs, crafting table, and stuff. I also decided to use pottery from the newest update. I pasted in a Debris Mall from the North City in the Republic of Star. Debris Mall is a giant company from the Republic of Star that has been expanding to more and more regions. But that isn't the only relation with Republic of Star. The Republic of Triangle used to exist in what is now Republic of Star. The capital city is next to the Mesa, a land now deserted. Religion from the region has spread long ago. Hundreds of years later, the Republic of Triangle is pushed out of most of the mainland, and a few nationalist populations has moved to another land, which is essentially what this is. An ancient Wither religion from the Mesa. The religion has been extinguished, but I'll talk about it when we reach the Republic of Star. But since the dynasty in Triangle Centurian has been kicked out, so does the religion that the native Triangle Centurian, does that make sense? Anyways, viewed as oppressive. Anyways, it has been completely burned down. I made a remnant of what used to be a religious place of some kind. Alright, now I started making an application center for the jobs nearby. The opposite side is a mini-mart. I don't know what to call it, so this is either a crying face or TOT or TNT. I'm gonna leave it vague. Added some more commercial building at the back. Alright, now I'm back creating the hotel. I added frame for each room, dividing each room here. Now for the third floor, I made a pool. On the other side, and a balcony. I then make a roof, pretty average. I don't think it will look super complicated. Alright, time for a current religion building. This is basically a native Triangle Centurian religion that has come back. I use jungle blocks and bamboo blocks, which looks really nice. I added some proving stand so it works just like a Minecraft church. Now for a bridge out of the city. I hope you like how the city looks. This took me quite a while to make. I hope you enjoyed the video. And thanks for watching this video. It took super long to make this video and I'm not sure if it's long or short in the final product. But yeah, it took a bit of time. Cue the outro.